Engineering manufacture has played a large part in the economy of the town since the middle of the 19th century. The engineering firms basically grew out of the textile industries, with most towns in Angus engaged in flax processing using both local and imported material. The three large employers in the past were Keith Blackman, Douglas Fraser and Sons, and Alexander Shanks. This 1963 photograph shows the area occupied by Keith Blackman at the middle left and Douglas Fraser at top left. These large sites are now respectively occupied by the Abbeygate shopping centre and Morrison's supermarket. The road running top to bottom is the High Street. This schematic view shows the factory of Alexander Shanks at the Dens Ironworks in the late 19th century. The company had premises at Ward Mill, near what was referred locally as the Dammy. This shows the Ward Mill Dam area as it used to be. It was an attraction for children, and a number fell into the murky water. It was also used for dumping junk such as old prams, bikes, etc. This is how the area looks now. The company was founded in 1823 as a tinsmith and gasfitter's business by local man James Keith. Towards the end of the 19th century, the business was expanded to manufacture boilers and radiators. Lampposts with Keith gas lamps were used throughout the country. As the business expanded, a head office was opened in London. The turning point for the company was in 1901, when they joined with the Blackman Ventilating Company, and by the Second World War they were world leaders in ventilation fan design and manufacture. The Keith Blackman Social Club, called the James Keith Hall, opened in Gravesend in 1924. When the company closed, the premises were initially taken over by Pertz, the house furnishers, for storage. It was then sold to the Angus Decorating Company for the sale of paints, etc. It is currently the Coast Restaurant and Bar. The company's works once dominated the High Street, as shown in this 1953 picture. This imposing stone-built complex dates from 1910, and behind it was the pattern shop, two non-ferrous foundries, and the metrological laboratory. The Allen Street foundry closed in 1965, followed by Stanley in 1970. The area was cleared to widen this part of the High Street to accommodate the hydroelectric shop and others. Entrance to the Keith Blackman staff offices was via a door on the other side of the High Street. Once through this door on the High Street, and through the general office area, the drawing office was reached. Then down a flight of steep stairs and into the Applegate Lordburn factory complex, comprising boiler shop, fitting shop, machine shop, and the non-ferrous foundry where aluminium alloy fan impellers were cast, along with various brass components. The plate shop was located on the other side of Applegate. The company enjoyed a worldwide reputation in the industrial fan market. Applications included coal mine ventilation, powder fuel transmission for coal-fired power stations, cooling tower fans, and general ventilation systems for a variety of ships and buildings. Their fans were installed in naval ships such as the Ark Royal, and also in pleasure craft such as the Britannia, which is now permanently docked at Leith. Electric motors were also manufactured in Applegate and were wound by Arbroath girls. One war effort job included the motors which propelled the midget submarine that sank the Tirpitz. Other contracts included tank ventilation and cooling equipment for radar. In the 1950s, 2,000 people were employed by the company in Tottenham and Edmonton, while 350 were employed in Arbroath on a 5.5-acre site. This period of stability was achieved until about 1965. The company was taken over by Slater Walker in 1961, and then in the short space of 1 year by GEC. Demolition and the rundown of facilities started in 1968, as seen in this view taken at the junction of Applegate and Gravesend, looking towards Market Place. The non-ferrous foundry closed in 1968 and Stanley Foundry in 1970. The slide of the company continued with the High Street offices going in 1978. The Tottenham Works closed down in 1980, and in Arbroath the Applegate Lordburn Works transferred to a new factory on the Kirkton Industrial Estate in June 1982. This factory was purpose-built and had a test facility for large industrial fans with a dynamometer drive capacity of about 100 kilowatts. In March 1985, the company John M. Henderson from Aberdeen took over the building and the workforce. Their engineering business was not in the field of ventilation, and hence this was the end of Keith Blackman in the town. We now move into the family business of Douglas Fraser. The company was founded in 1832 as a power loom weaving establishment in the Wellgate. By 1961, the company was the largest employer in the town and employed about 900 people on a 7-acre site. The factory once dominated the Guthrie Port, High Road Bridge, Stob Cross, Wellgate area of the town as seen in this 1961 view. The road running vertically on the right-hand side is the Guthrie Port, leading onto the High Road Bridge. The buildings of Douglas Fraser and Sons are clearly visible. The buildings in the Wellgate today are all that is left of the original factory and are occupied by Angus Council. The company took its first patent in 1870 for a machine for making sailcloth from dressed flax at the Wellgate Works. They then diversified and developed machines for producing rope-soled shoes after erecting a factory in Buenos Aires in 1880. These shoes were also made in Arbroath for the home and export market. From 1900, the general engineering side of the business developed with the introduction of a range of products. A few steam-powered cars were made in 1911. The design and manufacture of textile machinery, such as jute softeners, roll formers, and cone winders, were particularly important. The product started life on the drawing board, and the company had a large drawing office in the Wellgate, along with the administration offices. They also recognized the importance of a thorough practical and theoretical training for engineering apprentices, and the school was also housed in this area. This educational facility was made available to other engineering companies in the town. The 1950s saw the decline of the textile industry, with machines now being produced in Pakistan. At this point, the company again diversified into the machine tool market and produced a fully automatic facing and centering machine for shafts as used in the automotive industry. On August 13, 1959, the company merged with Giddings and Lewis Machine Tool Company of Fond du Lac in Wisconsin, USA. This new private company was called Giddings and Lewis Fraser Limited. This event was celebrated by the flying of the Stars and Stripes and the Union Jack at the Guthrie Port workshops. The company now specialised in machine tool design and manufacture. The main product was a high-quality horizontal borer that was used in a variety of industries at home and abroad. The company was presented with the Queen's Award to Industry in September 1966 in recognition of their achievements in the export field. The Wellgate jute mill closed in 1971, but the engineering side of the business had its heyday in the 60s and 70s. This shows the assembly bay off Guthrie Port, where machinery was packaged prior to transportation. The company closed in 1994 and the buildings were duly demolished. The Safeway supermarket was first built on the site, and this was eventually taken over by Morrison's. It is now hard to believe that the great engineering company with an international reputation once stood here. The company was founded by Alexander Shanks in 1840, and the name is synonymous with lawnmowers. Shanks did not invent the lawnmower, which is accredited to Edwin Beard Budding in 1830. He did, however, improve on the design and took out its first patent in 1842. Prior to founding the factory in Dens Road, Shanks started a business in Ogilvy Place in 1825 for machine making and spinning. The company started with 4 men and a boy and grew to over 300 employed in 1955. In addition to the lawnmower business, they were actually involved in a range of products such as conservatories and commercial greenhouses. Other goods produced during the Victorian period including locomotives, steam cranes, boilers, and various types of engines. Alexander Shanks died in 1845 at the age of 44. The main product was lawnmowers, and his son showed a range of their mowers at the Great Exhibition in London in 1851. This led to a successful business that continued into the 20th century. They supplied mowers to cut the tennis courts at Wimbledon, the cricket grounds at Lord's, and the old course at St Andrews. A large export business was set up, and the London office was opened in 1870. They designed and manufactured a variety of engines. These included triple expansion steam engines and a range of oil engines. Some of their engines were used in local fishing boats. The company also pioneered the production of malleable iron. This is a material that could be cast and have the strength and elasticity properties approaching that of steel. In 1969, the company was reborn as Gilman Fraser Limited, which was a branch of the newly formed Giddings and Lewis Fraser. They diversified into a range of products, and great things were planned, but the company closed soon afterwards. They are now just a name, and this is a view of the site today. Although Keith's, Frasers and Shanks are all long gone, engineering still plays a large part in the economy of the town. The Northern Tool and Gear Company was established in 1946 and are specialists in gear design and manufacture. AGR Automation are experts in the design and manufacture of automatic assembly machines for a variety of products. They work at the leading edge of technology with part recognition, high-speed cameras and robotic handling. John M. Henderson specialise in the design and manufacture of coke oven machinery used in steel production. Ladco produced chocolate making machines which are exported all over the world. PMP make metal pressings for the electronics industry. Riki Steel Tech specialise in steel design, manufacture and finishing. They also do laser and water jet cutting of steel. Halliburton, Mechserv, Waterford and Pioneer Oil Tools are all companies that service the oil industry.